Hello and welcome to the final CQ episode of Sydney Summit Live 2019. I am super stoked to have with me for this final episode the man himself, Mr. Glenn Gore. Glenn, how'd you feel coming off the rugby field down to CQ today?
I was pretty scared going on the rugby field, seeing I'm a developer sitting behind a desk a lot of the time, but I'm also sweating now, hoping I get the questions. I heard, John, you've worked hard finding some...
I've got you some special ones. In fact, this is, can we flick the screen over here? This is hard mode. Just for you, Glenn. Just for you.
My heart rate just shot up to 133.
Well, at least you're done in the right clothes, right?
I am, yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Okay, let's do it.
So just so everyone knows, this isn't a particular exam. John's built in from a few different ones, all right? So a few different certifications going on here.
And you can vote along online. Just type a number in the chat and see if you can get a better score than Glenn.
Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. First one, data processing, Glenn.
Yep.
Each month, your company processes 200 terabytes of data in Amazon S3, taking 24 hours to complete. Which method is most cost-effective?
Okay, what's the option? So copy the data to a persistent Amazon EMR cluster and run MapReduce jobs.
Do you know what EMR is?
Elastic MapReduce.
Good.
Do I get a half point for that?
There's no points. You just got to get it right.
Create an application that reads the information from Amazon S3. Well, you want me to just answer it?
No. Give us some information.
Process?
Well, so copy the data to a persistent Amazon EMR cluster. No, that's not the most cost-effective way because you'll be paying for it when it's not running, so it's not one. Yep. Create an application that reads the information from Amazon S3 and runs it through Amazon Kinesis. No, because you're going to have to run an application to load it into Kinesis, then pay to store the Kinesis stream itself, and then process it. So no. Let's see, run a transit EMR cluster. Yes, for 3, 4. No. So I'm going to go with 3.
And that's why. Why number 3?
Why number 3? Because you're using the benefit of the cloud, which is only run the resources you need for when you run it, and when it finishes, turn it off.
Let's check the poll.
Always a good thing. The viewers 100%. At home are agreeing with you.
Are you ready?
Woo.
3 it is.
3.
He's off to a good start, everyone.
Congratulations. We have a message that came in.
We do have a very interesting message, Glenn. I'm not sure I should read it, to be honest. But hey, let's go for it. Last show of Summit. When was the last time you showered? From Werner Vogels.
It was this morning, believe it or not. It's just been a busy day running the Sydney Summit, was spread across 3 big buildings and running from, I think the team has deliberately had one meeting at one end and the other meeting at the other end, and we're just running back and forth.
Thanks for the extra detail.
There you go.
I really appreciate it. All right, let's move on to question 2, Amazon EC2. An Amazon EC2 instance has been underutilized, so you decide to downsize the instance. You stop the instance and change its instance type. However, you are unable to start the instance again because it is now in a terminated state. What caused the instance to terminate?
I should mention this is off a real life case. This actually happened to me.
This is actually a tricky one.
Yes.
Are these getting harder, John, as we go through? Or
maybe.
This, however, you're unable to start the instance again because it's now in a terminated state. What caused it? It was using Instant Store for the boot volume.
So tell us about Instant Store. Why is Instant Store good or bad?
Well, you can't stop an Instant Store instance, right? So it can't be that.
Wiping out one. What about number 2?
It was a spot instance. So we at AWS, we can stop a spot instance, but you can't as a user.
That's a new feature, isn't it?
Yeah, so that can't be 2.
So just to clarify that one, spot instances, if we don't have enough capacity, we used to terminate them, we now have the ability to stop them.
Yeah,
but we'll stop it for you, you can't stop it yourself.
Correct, yeah, it's a new one. They came out last year, right? I think.
Yeah, just recently.
It was let's go to 4. It was using a capacity reservation that was no longer available. No, reservations don't really affect the running instance. So it has to be 3, which is the instance being launched using auto scaling. So if you do stop an instance, auto scaling is going to think it's failed and will terminate it and launch a new one.
So you're locking in number 3?
Number 3.
Let's check in on the polls, John.
The polls agree with number 3.
They didn't seem to have as much trouble as you, Glenn, on this question. We got 100% over here. Ready?
And
3 it is.
It was indeed the case. Somebody had set up an auto scaling we didn't know. Instance went away.
Okay. I'll tell you what, doing this
Need a
after
breather?
3 days of doing keynotes, your brain gets
You've got
fried.
this. You've got this.
All right.
How about a bit of Lambda?
I do love Lambda. All right, come
All
on.
right, here we go.
Come on.
You have an AWS Lambda function that needs access to a public API on the internet, and also an Amazon RDS instance in a private subnet of an Amazon VPC. Whew. How do you configure such access?
You know, when I hear you saying this, MJ,
Is it my accent?
it's no, just after 3 days of Summit, it sounds like when you're reading the tax form, you got to fill it out, and they're like, you know,
Oh.
did you do? It's like, hang on, I got to read it 5 times to try and understand.
You just compared me to tax.
Yeah, to the ATO, I did.
Winning.
This is why I'm not allowed back in Australia often.
Yeah.
All right, associate the Lambda function with a private subnet in the VPC, and associate. No, well, it won't. The routing won't work for the Elastic Network interface from the private subnet. So number 1 is out. Launch a NAT gateway in a public subnet, and associate the Lambda function with a private subnet in the VPC. Yep. 3, associate the Lambda function with a public subnet in the VPC and create a VPC endpoint for Amazon RDS.
I mean, Have you
No.
watched this show, Glenn?
No.
We normally don't just read the answers.
Okay, well, it can't be 3 because it won't, again, you won't be able to talk to the public API out there on the internet.
There
so
we go.
No. And it won't be 4 because you can connect to private and public. So it's going to have to be number 2,
Locking into?
locking in 2.
How confident are you?
This one I'm actually pretty confident.
John, how's the poll looking?
Poll is, it's split
It's
2 and
split.
3.
Uh-oh.
2 and 3.
Uh-oh.
3.
Uh-oh.
So
You
before we
ready?
have a look, the VPC
Hang on,
endpoint,
what
what is the VPC endpoint?
A VPC endpoint allows you to expose different AWS services within your own VPC. So it's a secure way of having data transfer from your Lambda function to whatever the service is, such as RDS, for example.
So which one was the correct answer? Is it 2
What did most
or
people
is
pick
it
out of
3?
curiosity?
Still split between 2 and 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Ready?
It was
2
2.
it is.
NAT Gateway. NAT Gateway.
Final question coming up.
You know what? I am sweating.
You actually really are. I can confirm that it is quite bad.
Look at Adam Larda over there watching. Look at him. He's got the biggest smile on his face going, he's going to get one wrong. He's going to get one wrong.
Question 4, SQS. You can't go wrong.
So I have to get a little secret. My favorite service, believe it or not, is SQS. I
And-
love
Okay.
SQS.
Which was the first AWS service ever?
Well, it depends how you argue it. The first one built was SQS, the first released one, S3. But SQS is older than S3.
You know,
People
you've
in
just
Seattle.
set yourself up. Saying this is your favorite, you have to get this right now.
All right, come on, MJ.
This
All
question,
right.
by the way, came from a real customer on Stack Overflow, so it's a real
Oh,
use case.
nice. Thanks,
So
John.
is that Stack Overflow? Can I just borrow the laptop?
John probably answered it. All right, hundreds of buses are sending real-time coordinates to your Amazon SQS FIFO queue.
Yep.
The queue has thousands of messages, but after retrieving 10 messages, no more messages can be retrieved. What could be the cause?
What could be the cause? Well, let's go through the easy ones and knock them off. It can't be number 4, because long polling is just actually around being really efficient about the number of calls from your code to it. Instead of polling in a tight loop, it'll
Okay.
wait up to 20 seconds or so.
Yep.
The dead letter queue is full. It's a queue. It's not full, so it's not 3. It's not 4. It's not 3. SQS FIFO queues have a maximum of 10 in-flight messages, where you can tune that. So it's not 1. Each bus should use its own message group ID. That is the winner, chicken dinner, because if you have each bus using a message group ID and looking in here, they're not. So effectively, you'll be hitting that. You
what
can
is
only
a
have one message in flight for each group ID, right?
What is a message group ID?
It's just a way of grouping messages. So for example, if you had hundreds of buses in this case, you want each bus's message, if you want to read them in order, assigned to their own group ID. So as you're working on one bus, in parallel you could be working on other buses, but the messages aren't
Yep.
going to get out of order again. So it's just a really nice way of in-ordering within the same queue across multiple parallel objects. So yeah,
FIFO.
2.
Excellent.
Happy?
First
John?
in,
I'm
first
happy.
out.
John
Is-
approves.
well, it depends. What is the answer? People out there are saying number 2.
A few are number 3 as well. So
All right.
Are you ready?
I am confident
This
it's
is
number
for
2.
the 100%.
I'm watching Adam Larda. He's got a big smile though.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, the alignment is wrong. The correct
What?
answer is number
That's
2.
2.5.
Here, live editing.
Well, what?
Live editing.
I mean, what would we be doing if we didn't have a few technical issues now and again, right?
That's right. Hey, I answered on
To be
Stack
fair-
Overflow. I know. Perfect.
Better.
Now it is the correct answer. Yay.
And we did get 100%. So, Glenn, before we let you go,
Yeah.
there's no more technical questions, but we're very curious to know what's been your favorite moment of Summit over the 3 days, including Innovation Day.
Including Innovation Day.
No pressure that you stood on CQ Live with John and myself right now.
You know, it's hard to pick just one thing, but if I had to pick it, it's actually something that probably actually the majority of people at Summit never got to see. And it was actually, yesterday we had 480 kids with us, and they come into the keynote, and afterwards we actually take them to their own special area, and they have a number of workshops, and part of that is a career panel. And I was fortunate enough to have some time with the kids and just to answer some questions from them.
Good
And
questions?
they were incredible questions. They were like, what game do I like playing? How much do you get paid to be on a keynote
Not
stage?
even I did ask that one, Glenn.
It was really good, but no, jokes aside, the questions they were asking were actually really, really smart. Like, you know, there was one of the girls was actually like, what's it like as a girl working in IT today? And it was really great because we had on the panel, we had Jenny Freshwater from Amazon, and we had Beck, who's one of our sales team. And it was really nice hearing the answers from the girls, and then being able to have the girls in the audience actually see them kind of smile and start, you know, leaning in a little bit and actually being more interested. So that was my highlight.
It's awesome to hear. Thank you, Glenn, so much for joining us for the final CQ episode of Summit Live 2019. Hope to see you again on an episode in the future.
I'm not
for now,
coming back. The pressure's too much.
For now, let's cue over to This Is My Architecture for their final slot of Summit 2019. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody.
Awesome, thank you.